Good morning, Las Vegas, and all of our sports bettors around the world. You know what time it is. Time to grab your bankroll, hit the window, and beat the line. You're rocking with the boss of the big board, JB the Ticket, and Vegas Scoreboard Express live here on KSHP, AM 1400 and 107.1 on your FM dial. You guys are definitely going to want to stay locked in with me today. Got my main man, Ron, third down, best bets on the line with me. Good morning, Ron. How are you?
Good morning, sir. How are you?
We're doing really, really well over here at the studio. Going to be jumping into this NBA Summer League when we get back. Last night, the debut of the number one overall draft pick, Victor Wembanyama. A lot to be desired from that. We're going to be talking about it. A lot of other rookies doing their thing last night in Vegas. Shout out to the NBA for coming to Las Vegas for the Summer League. First ever NBA con. I'll be out there with you guys next week. I had to prepare this week to give you guys the grease and take a look at some of these games. And I watched every single game for the Summer League on Fubo TV. That's right. Go to FuboTV.com/JB. I'm giving you 15% off and 7 days free. So when I get back from this short commercial break, we're going to jump right into it. NBA Summer League, all NBA today, this Saturday, July the 8th. 2023. Again, you guys can rock with us on our website at VegasScoreboardExpress.com. You can also get some sponsorships for the show this fall over at VSX Digital Sports Network.com. So, VSX, JB the Ticket here, rocking with you. Ron, third down, best bet's going to be breaking down this action. You guys keep it locked. Let's get some money. You're listening to the boss of the big ball, JB the Ticket. Vegas Scoreboard Express. Giving you that grease.
Basketball season is heating up, so stay in the game with Fubo TV. Get the NBA, NCAA, FIBA, and more. Get 7 days free at VegasScoreboardExpress.com. Don't get cabled. Get Fubo TV.
Keep it locked with your boy on the ones and twos. Going in on the wheels of steel.
You're listening to the boss of the big ball.
This is it. The cocaine and the crack. They all sound the same to me. There's a war going on outside. No man is safe from. Vegas Scoreboard with Brainful. That's how I'm living.
That's how we do it. That's just the way it is.
That's the reason why I came to you. Drink and women and money.
Back at you live, JB the Ticket, Vegas Scoreboard Express, KSHP 107.1 FM, AM 1400. I'm waking you up early in the morning every Saturday and Sunday, giving you the grease that you need to put the picks in your pocket to get your cash. Today we're talking a little bit of bread and Circus, NBA Summer League. Got my main man Ron, third down, best bets back on the line with me. Ron, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm enjoying the coffee today, brother.
That's what I'm talking about. You guys definitely want to stay tuned. Lock it in with us. Follow Ron over on Instagram at RaiderHawk1. Now, Ron, we know we've had some problems with your Instagram. You got these guys talking about they're hacking you up in Santa Ana. You're not going to be able to hack and get anything, but you guys got to stop stealing the social media. But let's jump into it, man. We are in the Summer League for the NBA. The debut of Victor Wembanyama. Oh, man. A lot of people are writing this guy off already. But like I said before, I'm not going to go too hard on him. Very first game had a lot of celebrity drama, if you will, before he got started. Not going to get too much into that. Probably will make a joke before the end of the show. But again, talking about this Wembanyama kid, number one overall, played in Monaco, Metropolitans 92 championship, didn't win that. But he was able to get the first win of his career, part of a winning team last night. They beat the Charlotte Hornets 68-76. Spurs had 76. Charlotte had 68. So, Ron, I'll go ahead and let you start because you know I called you last night after the game and let you know what my thoughts were. I'm not going to do that to the young man on the air, but, I mean, from a sports betting perspective, the Spurs are still off of my betting list for this upcoming NBA season. But go ahead with your thoughts.
Yeah, he had a rough night. This poor kid is going to go through what I like to call the Mike Trout syndrome now. Mike Trout, before he was even drafted, was going to hit 1,000 home runs, was going to hit 600, and have 2,000 million RBIs.
And by the way, talking a little bit of baseball, shout out to my main man, Scotty Beam him up Webb. He's going to be on tomorrow for the Sunday baseball picks. Guys definitely going to want to stay tuned for that. Scotty's got a pretty good record here with us so far this season. I think he's picking 58% winners, so always give a shout out to Scotty Beam him up Webb. But on that side note, you mentioned Mike Trout. He's hurt. All right. So let's jump back into this. Go ahead.
The pressure of the pre-media, I like to call them, the pre-draft guys. This guy was doomed. He was going to score 40 points a game, 20 rebounds a game, and have 10 blocks a game. Shaq couldn't do that. And Shaq's the baller. Now, this kid, I like what he said after the game. He is not buying into his own hype, and that's healthy. Today, most kids buy into their own hype. They hear something, and they run with it, and it's not realistic. He knows he has a lot of work to do, and I appreciate his approach after the game. That was a very healthy approach, so I'm going to give him that. I think he's in a good place there.
Right.
There is talent there. It's going to take a couple seasons to really develop it.
Right. I mean, you talk about it.
Yeah.
I mean, you talk about these Euro guys. You look at Giannis. It took Giannis about 8-9 seasons to get himself together. Okay. Wembanyama, you mentioned it in the unreleased show that we did a couple of Saturdays ago. You guys have to listen live, exclusive 107.1 FM. Sometime I do exclusives that we do not re-release. But we talked about it. The championship versus Monaco. Wembanyama was pretty much on a milk carton in that game as well. They didn't win. He still was the number one pick, and I kind of feel like kind of the NBA, like I said before, not to dig too much on these guys, but they kind of plucked him out of obscurity. They said he's the guy, number one player. But Kai Jones last night for the Charlotte Hornets, he didn't believe so. Already posterized this guy, man, already. Shout out Kai Jones last night for the Charlotte Hornets. He only had 7 points, but when you talk about players coming after you and players respecting your game, I didn't see that a lot last night from Wembanyama. I saw him on the bench a lot as well. I saw Greg Popovich looking very, very frustrated. So, again, the growing pains of trying to get basically his situation going is going to take the Spurs quite some time. And I don't know how long Greg Popovich is going to continue to coach. Looking kind of old last night out there, getting off the floor at the end of the game. Kind of doing that old man shuffle. So we've seen this in the past. When you talk about teams that were expected to do a lot more, I think, again, in my opinion, for Wemby, you're here in Vegas. JB the Ticket says good luck to you for your first season. Again, you guys are going to do as best that you can. You got one of the best coaches left in the NBA. You've got some Hall of Fame pedigree. I say take it slow. He's got to focus on taking it slow, okay? Not to put too much expectation on him. He is a little bit wiry. He fell down a lot last night, looking like one of those baby giraffes that just got born. So that was a little bit tough to see. Missed a few open layups, a lot of turnovers, and his ball handling. I mean, he needs to, give that ball up to a guard. That's kind of what I saw last night. It's just a different game in the NBA, a lot more up and down. And we talked about this with the youth basketball in America becoming less focused on high school and college and more on these AAU tournaments. When you have that, these guys play 40, 50 games a day. So they're up and down, not a lot of set plays, not a lot of set shots. They just basically are, running an AAU game in the NBA. Low scoring last night, didn't crack 100 in this game. Brandon Miller, let's talk about this guy. He played out very well last night, 16 points. He got about 30 minutes in the game. This is Brandon Miller from Alabama. He was the number 2 pick. Talking about his debut last night, Ron, what are your thoughts?
I liked what I saw. He's got some talent. He's a player, but he's got to learn how to play defense. He's a little aggressive. He's just solid way too much.
Right.
But that's something they can coach him up. They can coach that up and get that out of his game quick. So I like him. I think he's a player. He's got some really good talent.
You had James Bouknight last night dropping in another 14 points. So I think the Charlotte Hornets, again, they were sold from Michael Jordan's ownership to a different ownership group. I think they've got a good core. Shout out to Amari Bailey. He was out on the floor last night getting a couple of buckets. He's a young man I thought should have been gone in the first round, but, the NBA is what it is. But like I said before, for Wembanyama, JB's going to tell you, Uncle JB's just saying, look, take it slow. Forget the hype. Stay away from these nightclubs and all this type of craziness so your security don't have to get involved in all types of drama. Vegas is known to get kids caught up in that, so you got to keep your eyes peeled. Moving along to another game yesterday that I actually took a look at. Again, you guys can catch these games on Fubo TV. Go to FuboTV.com/JB, saving you 15% off on that. The Denver Nuggets in their summer league game actually lost to the Milwaukee Bucks. 85-92, but Milwaukee picked up a draft pick. And I love defense. I love old school defense. They picked up two guys that I really like. Andre Jackson Jr. Let's give this guy a shout out for that defensive effort last night. This young man was blocking shots, snatching stuff off the rim. The team point guard would turn it over. He comes back, gets another defensive stop. He's going to be a terror on that Milwaukee Bucks team. I think Giannis should be a little less concerned about his free agency and see what type of core that they have. They also pick up Taco Fall. You guys may not remember him, but he's another one of these 7'8" guys. Played over in Taiwan or in China the last couple of seasons, getting his sea legs going. He had 16 minutes. Didn't do too much on the offensive side of the ball. Only 4 points. Marjan Beauchamp, this guy was balling out last night. 23 points. And they also picked up Drew Timme. Again, another one of our favorites from college basketball. You picked up Drew Timme for the Bucks. This guy gave you 7 points, 12 minutes off of the bench. So, again, Ron, what did you see from some of these rookies last night? And, again, we're not talking too much about game scheme or coaching scheme. We know it's summer league. But some of the effort that we saw last night was lacking in some places. But, again, guys like Andre Jackson Jr. may not be a big offensive player, but because of the way the game is played now, with a lot of jump shots, a lot of balls coming off, a lot of guys not elevating when they drive to the basket, I think he's going to be a terror on defense. Go ahead.
I agree with you 100%. As a Dallas Mavericks fan, I would love for them to acquire him. That is a player. I love his effort. I mean, you don't see that in the summer league. You really don't see that. I mean, he just went 100,000%.
Well, he's a national champion as well. Shout out the UConn Huskies. They were national champions last year. That's what I like to see from the college basketball players that come into the NBA. You've got to have something other than hype, and you've got to be able to play the game in its full spectrum. If you're not a 20-point-a-game scorer, at least give me 5 steals, 10 rebounds, and cause a little bit of havoc on the defensive side of the ball. My main man, Ron, Third Down Best Bets. Again, you guys follow him over on Instagram at RaiderHawk1. Check him out on our website, VegasScoreboardExpress.com. You can follow us on the gram at JBTheTicket. Follow me on the Bird at We Beat the Line. A lot of crazy stuff going on the social media again, so be sure to go to my website first if you want to get in contact with me and get all of the news. So when we get back from this short commercial break, we're going to be breaking down more of this NBA Summer League, talking about some of the players that we expect to have a pretty good Summer League season. A little jaunt here, if you will. And again, you guys do not miss out on these games. Our show sponsor today is Fubo TV. Get over to FuboTV.com and get that 15% off. FuboTV.com/JB. So, Ron, quick shout-outs, and then we'll take this short commercial break and come back and start breaking down some more of these games. Go ahead.
I got a quick shout-out and a quick statement. A shout-out for our superfan, Kayla. Thank you for listening. You're always there listening. We appreciate you so much. And my statement is, I will not be silent.
Well, that's what it is. Ron, Third Down Best Bets here in KSHP, Las Vegas, calling in from the VSX Digital Sports West Studios in LA. When we get back from this short commercial break, we are going to continue. More ball. All money, all sports, no bull. JB the Ticket, Vegas Scoreboard Express. Get the money.
You're listening to the boss of the big four, JB the Ticket, Vegas Scoreboard Express, giving you that grease. Basketball season is heating up, so stay in the game with Fubo TV. Get the NBA, NCAA, FIBA, and more. Get 7 days free at VegasScoreboardExpress.com. Don't get cabled. Get Fubo TV.
The best choice for convenience, comfort, and value, My Place hotels are ideal for both short-term and long-term travelers. The rooms at My Place features pillow-top mattresses, microfiber bedding, and a variety of soft and firm pillows. All extended stay rooms offer their own kitchen, which includes a full-size refrigerator and a cooktop. On-site laundry facilities are also available for extended stays at pet-friendly My Place hotels. Book your stays online at myplacehotels.com. My Place Hotels, St. George and West Jordan, Utah. Make My Place your place.
You're tuned into the VSX Digital Sports Network.
You're listening to the boss of the big board.
If you have money, you can buy anything.
JBTHETICKET.
Fire, more heat.
Vegas Scoreboard Express. Giving you that grease.
Back on the line with you, JB, the Ticket, Vegas Scoreboard Express. The best in the business, the boss of the big board with my main man, Ron, Third Down Best Bets. Follow him over on Instagram at RaiderHawk1. Check out our website, VegasScoreboardExpress.com. Made some updates to it. Got some new deals on there again. Order some delicious Indian food ready to go. Put it right in the microwave from our partners over at quickly.com. Jumping back into this NBA Summer League. Ron, you're still enjoying that coffee with us. Go ahead. Oh, my goodness. Somehow this thing hung up on him. So I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about what I saw yesterday with the NBA, the technical difficulties, man. I'm going to tell the guys at the station, I'm going to come in here with my wallet and replace everything. I'm just letting you guys know. Don't be surprised, all right? But talking about these Portland Trail Blazers yesterday, we're waiting to get Ron back on the line. We're stunned yesterday at the buzzer. Jabari Smith Jr., young man out of the G League, came in and hit a buzzer beater, beat the Portland Trail Blazers 100-99. Just to give you a little bit of background to that particular game, I took a look at it myself, just kind of jumping back and forth to kind of see what our young guy who came in for the Portland Trail Blazers, Scoot Henderson, did his thing last night. 15 points in 21 minutes, very efficient from the field, 38.5% shooting. You guys are going to definitely want to stay locked in to this, because when I get back from this short commercial break, me and Ron are going to be talking about what's going on in Portland. Now that they've got Scoot Henderson, a couple of other young ballers coming up, Damian Lillard, the Miami trade, lots of nuances going on with that. We're going to break down for you how you can make some money. Couple of prop bets over at our friends at betus.com. Use offer code VSX125 if you're in a legal jurisdiction. So we're going to be talking about it when I get back from the short commercial break and get Ron back on the line with us here. KSHP, JB the Ticket, Vegas Scoreboard Express. You guys keep it locked. When we get back, we're going to get the money. And we may even get some new boards too.
You're listening to the boss of the big board, JBTHETICKET. Vegas Scoreboard Express. Giving you that grease.
Shopping is always easy with the Radio Shopping Show. Whether it's shopping during any one of our live shows right here on AM 1400 or listening live on the KSHP app, you can always call in at 702-221-7283 to pick up great deals with your favorite host. Or shop 24/7 at KSHP.com. Go to KSHP.com and select Shopper's Guide to browse hundreds of businesses featured on the show. Place your order online and we'll have it shipped right to your front door. With so many possibilities, it's hard not to shop.
JB the Ticket back on the line with you. Waking you up early, Ron. You spilled coffee on your phone. What happened, man? Come on. Man, so glad to have you back on the line again. Ron, Third Down Best Bets. Follow him on Instagram at RaiderHawk1. So before we got those technical difficulties fixed. We were talking about the Portland Trailblazers last night. These guys got stunned by the Houston Rockets. I know we were talking a little bit about the Thompson brothers before in the pregame, but talking about Jabari Smith Jr. last night, hitting that buzzer beater to take down that Summer League win, 100-99. And before that short commercial break, we were talking a little bit about Scoot Henderson last night. 15 points in 21 minutes. Very efficient scoring. He hit a three, 1 of 3, 33%. A lot of these guys didn't take a lot of three-point shots, but Jabari Walker was 100% 2 for 2 and hit that game winner. But talk to me a little bit about what you saw in this game, because we talked about it in the pregame, so I'll let you break it down for the fans, and then we're going to talk a little bit about this Damian Lillard trade. There is some money to be made on it. Again, get over to betus.com. Use offer code VSX125 in your legal jurisdiction. And if you have a gambling problem, be sure to get some help. There are some options for him on the line to go to teams other than the Miami Heat. But talk to me a little bit about this Summer League game, and then we'll get into it. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was real impressed with Scoot before he got hurt. He looked really good. He's a baller. Portland definitely got a good player with him. I hope it's not a dislocated shoulder. I hope he's not out, extended period. Houston had some players too. Jabari Smith Jr. looked really good. The Thompson twin, I'm going to call him the twin because he's one of the twins.
Right.
The Thompson twin looked really good. And Houston's got some players. I don't know if Dylan Brooks and Fred VanVleet are going to be enough to put them over the top, but they'll definitely be more competitive this year because they do have some young talent. They don't really have any veteran leadership. So
Right. That's kind of what I was thinking with the Houston Rockets. I mean, they were in some political turmoil a couple seasons ago and had to deal with all the issues with James Harden coming and running through there. So when you talk about it from that perspective, a young team like the Houston Rockets, I think they'll do well here in the Summer League. Again, more of a guard type of play. They did have Jay Huff out there. This guy gave him 5 points in 20 minutes. Kind of I wouldn't call him a bruiser. In today's NBA, you don't really have a bruiser. But he was, disrupting a few shots. But when I talk about this young rookie, Amen Thompson, this guy was really playing well last night. I was very shocked to see it. 28 minutes. They gave him a lot of minutes. He had 16 points. 6 of 13 from the field, shooting 46%. That's kind of what I like to see from a young rookie. Just get your feet wet your beak a little bit, and see if you can provide value on the line. So, again, Amen Thompson, praying for you. You're down there in Houston. Like I'm telling all the rookies, if I run into you out there, take it easy. It's your first season. Settle into it. Play the game the way you know how to play it. Another game that came on last night on Fubo TV, I took a little gander at it, was the Atlanta Hawks going up against the Sacramento Kings. Sacramento Kings were able to win that game with their young rookies, 80-76 over the Atlanta Hawks. So when you talk about the Sacramento Kings, Ron, you're a California guy. You tend to follow these teams a little bit more than most. What did you see out of that young team with some of that young talent? We know the Atlanta Hawks, they picked up the young rookie Kobe Buffkin. He gave him 8 points. Wasn't too dynamic, if you will, but just, again, recapping this game. And so you guys know, while we're not giving rotation numbers, NBA Summer League is not on the betting line. Boo, I know. That's why I was telling you guys. The milk carton and the way these guys are drafting and putting stuff together, it's going to affect sports betting, and that's what we care about here on this show. Not going to get too much into the business side of it today, but that's the main reason why you're not seeing a lot of these games on the line. You might find them at some of these obscure books that'll probably steal your money. Not over at our friends at BetUS.com. But tell me about what you saw with this Atlanta Hawks team, because, again, they were young. They seem to be playing in that same style that they played during the regular season, just with different guys. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, it was just kind of crazy out there. They were just kind of going all over the place. I didn't really see a lot of structure in that game. I mean, it was a good game. I mean, nobody stood out to me. I really didn't. I mean, other than Buffkin, I mean, I really didn't have. Nobody stood out. It was just kind of a quiet, crazy game.
Well, with that being said,
I know it's not much saying much, but that was the impression I got of that game. It just nothing really impressed me. I mean, I didn't leave upset or anything or not happy, but I was just like, okay.
Yeah, it was just another game. Again, the NBA with this summer league, it's just an extension of AAU. A lot of these guys are, would be third-year college players and they're first and second-year NBA players with the way the game is structured now. So you're going to see that a lot more.
Mention, bro,
go ahead.
Before I forget, I want to mention Leonard Miller from Minnesota, man. He had a game last night. He was 7-11. He was 4 from 3 pointers. He had 11.
Well, let's talk about it. I was going to jump into another game, but let's jump into this game. New Orleans Pelicans. These guys have been in the cellar for quite some time. Wasted that draft pick a couple of seasons ago. Won't get too much into it. But, yeah, Brandon Williams, he scored 24 points. So let's talk about this team a little bit because, again, there's no betting really involved. Just kind of looking at what some of the rookies are doing. But the Minnesota Timberwolves, again, they've got some young talent. Talk to me about what you saw again. Go ahead.
Yeah, Leonard Miller really impressed me. I mean, this kid's got a hell of a reach. I mean, I think I read his reach was like almost 8 feet before the draft. His wingspan. Mm-hmm. He's a baller, and they got him late in the first round. So I think he's the one that really impressed me. It was Charlotte, right?
No, these guys played New Orleans. The Pelicans.
New Orleans messed up.
Yeah.
EJ Liddell looked pretty good. They just signed him to a full-term deal. It made his deal a legitimate NBA deal. He really impressed me.
That's good. That's good. Moving up in the money game. Want to talk about this game, though, because a lot more people like the branding. Golden State Warriors in the Summer League last night here in Vegas, losing to the Los Angeles Lakers. Shout out to the Los Angeles Lakers rookies. These guys took down a win last night, 103-96. Max Christie, 22 points. So talking about the young Lakers and young Warriors coming through the talent pool. Now, we know that the Lakers re-signed Austin Reeves, but it would seem to me that they might have a lot of open spots, if you will. Again, just taking it from the perspective of what we saw last season, they need to put together a better bench. The reason that these guys didn't win in the finals, Western Conference, didn't have much more than LeBron and AD. So when you talk about their rookies, seeing a young kid like Max Christie out there balling, you got my kid Maxwell Lewis. Shout out my boy Maxwell Lewis. You remember we was over at the gym over on Rancho? I told you were going to the league, kid. All you had to do was just keep doing the things that you were doing and get better. So, again, that's the Pepperdine product, Maxwell Lewis. He was able to get 7 points out there last night. So talking about some of these younger players for the Los Angeles Lakers, you got Cole Swider, Max Christie, you got the guy Maxwell Lewis. You know that the Lakers right now, Scottie Pippen Jr., he didn't play. It was a coach's decision. It's just kind of an open season with the Lakers. I think they just kind of put together a couple of ballers. Do you think any of these young men are actually going to make the roster for the Lakers? Go ahead.
I think Max Christie will be there. I think the rookie Hood will make it too. I mean, he had a slow game last night, but it's, he's not a dazzler. He didn't dazzle at Indiana. I mean, he's a solid player that on a given night can put up some good numbers. Mm-hmm. But he's kind of a calming factor in the game, which is something I think the Lakers need. But I don't think he's going to see the floor a lot this year.
Right.
I don't think Christie will either. But yeah, but I think those two should make the roster.
Should make the roster. I mean, it is again, a very, very young summer league. I've seen a lot of the average age around 19, 20. Guys can't even get in the club, man. Come to Vegas, you can't even party. Your ID says access denied. Talking about these Golden State Warriors, had Reggie Perry last night, 11 points. You had a young man coming out named Gui Santos. Don't really have a lot of line on him, but I'm looking at it, 25 points in 29 minutes. We like to see that points per minute efficiency, but it is the summer league. Probably won't see this guy on the main roster, but let's talk about the future a little bit of these Golden State Warriors. Again, another team that's getting long in the tooth. Draymond Green, I think he opted out. He might have signed back in. Not too sure, but I know they got rid of Jordan Poole, and I know that Steve Kerr seems to be a little bit frustrated, taking a little bit more of a vacation time, trying to get things organized, leaving the summer league to the assistants. Do you think of any of these young men possibly getting on that Golden State roster? Go ahead.
Yeah, it's possible. I don't know about Gui Santos. I mean, it's the first I've heard of him before last night, to say the truth. I couldn't find anything either. So, but I think the Warriors, they're trying to retool for one more try. If they can stay healthy, they have a shot. I mean, Chris Paul, if he can stay healthy and be the point guard and just let Steph Curry. Sorry, I'm a Dallas fan. We just signed Steph Curry, and I've been thinking about him. I'm excited about that.
Man.
He's a good shooter. But anyway, let Steph Curry and Clay do what they do, and that's just run and gun. That's their game. They just like to run and shoot. And if they can have Paul to do – because Jordan Poole from what I've read and what I've heard, he was totally about himself. It was all about him trying to make opportunities for himself. And that's why he didn't jive with them, because I was wondering why they got rid of him. Because 2 years ago, when they, won the finals, he was really impressive, and he wasn't so impressive last year.
Well, it happens. I mean, guys are looking at the hype. Moving on to another game yesterday, the guy that everybody's talking about because of his name and the bright red shiny suit, Toronto Raptors went into Summer League yesterday, and they were able to not win, unfortunately. Didn't get the job done. Thank God I didn't put any money on that line. Lost to the Chicago Bulls, 83-74. You had Grady jumping out 30 minutes on the floor, only 10 points. Again, I mean, he's a rookie, just wetting his feet a little bit. But when you talk about some of these high draft picks, again, a lot of hype behind them. Tell me what you saw last night. Go ahead.
Well, not a lot. I mean, Grady Dick was out of Kansas. They said he was shooting almost 80% of three-pointers.
Yeah, the guy shot 2 from 9. We're not going to get too much into that. Go ahead.
You're not in Lawrence, Kansas anymore. So,
right.
But Toronto's a good team. They're kind of dangerous right now. People need to not sleep on them. By the way, in East, I like what they're doing. They got some talent there.
Yeah, I mean, for me, they're more or less in a rebuilding mode. New head coach, a lot of rookies. Kawhi left years ago. DeMar DeRozan left years ago. I mean, it's a tough situation up in Toronto, and the way I look at it from the perspective of these rookies, I think that this is one of those teams where we could see some guys maybe get two-way contracts coming out of the G League, getting a little bit more help. We also saw the son of Ron Harper, Chicago Bulls point guard back in the day, Ron Harper Jr. He was playing for the Toronto Raptors, gave him 30 minutes, 10 points, 4 assists. I mean, it's just young basketball play. I mean, I'm looking up the stat sheets last night for the entire NBA Summer League, and you didn't really see a lot of guys jumping off the stat sheet for you. You didn't see a lot of guys doing very many highlight reel plays, and I think it's just because, again, the youth of the NBA, the way it's structured now, guys from my era and older guys will be like, oh, man, this stuff sucks. These guys can't play. No, I say don't hate on the kids. These guys are young. They just play a little bit different. And the way that it's set up, like I said, a lot of these players would normally be juniors and seniors in college, but they're becoming rookies earlier, and in their second and third seasons, you know what I mean, they're developing in the NBA rather than some amateur leagues or secondary leagues. And, again, jumping into another game yesterday that I wanted to talk to you about, we gave you some ideas about this team early or on in the year. But the Cleveland Cavaliers, shout out my main man, Zach Weiss. I know he's always listening. He's a sports announcer back east from Jersey, loves the Cleveland Cavaliers. They were able to win yesterday in Summer League 101-97. That one was at the Cox Pavilion here in Las Vegas. So when you talk about these Cleveland Cavaliers, you're saying that this is another young man who a lot of people put him on the milk carton, but he was balling yesterday, Emoni Bates. That's right, Emoni Bates back from the milk carton. 28 minutes yesterday. He had 16 points, very efficient, 4 of 13 from 3, hit his free throws, got a couple of rebounds. Didn't have any assists, though. That's what I don't like to see. You got to pass the rock, man. Got to pass that rock. But from the perspective of rookies, he had one of the better debuts. And when you talk about the career trajectory that he's had, coming out being a very, very high school rated pick, getting traded, going through some issues in college, but he did make it to the NBA out of Eastern Michigan. How do you think his season is going to fare out as a first-year player? I think Emoni is a little bit better than some of these other players. He just got caught up in some of the muck, but because he's in the NBA last night, I saw a very efficient young player who I think is ready to contribute to the Cleveland Cavaliers in a few minutes next year. Go ahead.
Yeah, I agree. I was impressed with what I saw, too. If he can break the rotation and get in, I think he can definitely, play and help him. Absolutely.
They got another guard that was balling out last night, Sharif Cooper. Shout him out. He was able to help you put the cash in your pocket if you had a little side-friendly bet. 27 points in 27 minutes. You know we love that point-per-minute efficiency here. A young man who I think would be a great help to them if he's able to stay on the floor. Let's talk a little bit about some of the rookies for the Brooklyn Nets. Now, this is an entire new setup for these guys. They've got a few players Nobody over 20 points in this game is something that, it is what it is for the Brooklyn Nets. They had a lot of issues with the Ben Simmons trade, and they just weren't able to get over the hump. But when you talk about another young team, you got Armani Brooks over there. He gave you 17. Jalen Wilson gave you 17. David Duke. They've got guys who can get in. Well, David Duke Jr., that is, not the issue man from a long time ago that was on Phil Donahue. Let me make that clear. But this is a young baller for the Brooklyn Nets. 29 minutes, 13 points. Again, another young team. So when you talk about these teams right now in the Eastern Conference, a lot of rookies, still a lot of kids on the milk cartons trying to make a name for themselves. For the Brooklyn Nets, a spot is open at small forward if it can be taken. Do you think any of these young kids can step into that role? Go ahead.
Yeah, I think a lot of them can. But the problem is these NBA coaches don't let these rookies break the rotation. If they give them a chance, a lot of them are pleasantly surprised,
Yeah, I mean,
there's opportunities there.
It is. I mean, for the Brooklyn Nets, like I said before, that's a team that's shaky, very, very wavering. And when you got a young team where you really kind of expected players to come in and say, look, we want to win championships. We picked up a big three, and then that doesn't happen. You got to start looking at some of these rookies. Again, you're rocking with the boss of the big board, JB the Ticket, Ron Third Down, Best Bets. When I get back from this short commercial break, going to be getting into the final segment of the show, jumping into some more NBA, just giving you a little bit of bread and circus today. The NBA Summer League is going on again today. You guys can check it out on Fubo TV, or if you're here in Las Vegas, go to VegasScoreboardExpress.com. I've got game tickets on the line for you on the website, saving you a couple of dollars for that. So again, you guys keep it locked, stay tuned, and get the money.
You're listening to the boss of the big ball, JB the Ticket. Vegas Scoreboard. Giving you that grease.
Vegas Scoreboard Express, Saturday and Sunday mornings at 6 on AM 1400 KSHP North Las Vegas. Online at KSHP.com.
The Klondike Casino is a friendly local spot that features their signature restaurant, the Klondike Grill, serving up fresh food fast. Open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner just off the 95 freeway on Sunset Road in Henderson. You will find the Klondike Casino featuring all your favorite games from the Strip in the comfort of a neighborhood casino. You can place a bet at their full-service sports book or start your day with a breakfast plate that comes with your choice of potato and toast. Or check us out for lunch or dinner and try one of our many sandwiches like the popular beer-battered fish sandwich or the Philly cheesesteak. Check out the full menu at KlondikeSunset.com.
This football season, stay in the game with Fubo TV. Over 100 live channels, including NFL Network, NBA TV, and FS1. Don't miss any of the action. Get 7 days free on us at VegasScoreboardExpress.com. Don't get cabled. Get Fubo TV.
JB the Ticket, Vegas Scoreboard Express, back at you live here. Breaking it down for you, waking you up early in the morning. Got my main man, Ron Third Down, Best Bets in the game. Want to give a shout out to my main man, Naheem the Dream. He just texted me, told me he's tuned in here in Las Vegas. You guys know what time it is. Time to wake up early in the morning and get the money. Ron, you're still on the line with us. Got your coffee. Go ahead.
I'm here, sir.
That's what I'm talking about. Want to make sure that you're still locked in. You guys can always stay locked in. 107.1 FM early in the morning every Saturday and Sunday, giving you the picks that you need this summer, focusing on that bread and circus, breaking down some season previews, and back into the NBA Summer League we are. So talking about this Grizzlies team versus the Denver Nuggets. Shout out to my main man, Julian Strother, Las Vegas' finest, going in the first round. Doing his thing last night, 25 minutes, 15 points, balling out, playing hard, but unfortunately, these guys didn't win it. But I'm telling you right now, Julian Strother is a player to watch. So when you jump into some more of this NBA Summer League, Ron, what are some of the players that you are looking to see? I know a lot of people are waiting to see Chet Holmgren. Talk to me about this guy, because him and Wemby, again, very, very skinny. Guys are going to need to put on some muscle. We saw it last night with Wemby getting yammed on. A little bit more skill and coordination from Chet Holmgren, but we saw the injury, the foot injury that kept him out last year. How do you think he's going to fare this Summer League, and do you think he's going to be able to crack that roster? Go ahead. In Oklahoma.
with that foot injury and the way he kind of plays and looks, it kind of reminds me of a young Bill Walton a little bit.
A little bit.
I want to see him against Derek Lively today. I want to see, because Derek Lively, the first-round pick from Dallas, he was the leading shot blocker in the NCAA this year, and he's kind of a skinny kid too, but he's got some springs on him. He can get up there.
Right.
I want to see how he does against a good defender, because Lively's a pretty good defender. And he hasn't, Holmgren hasn't faced much so far in the summer league.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's one of those things where when you look at a lot of these younger players, like I said, they come into the league, it seems as though they can play at that level. But it is a difference when you take some of these second and third year guys who are still in the summer league and they're going against some of these rookies. You will see the difference as far as physicality and the ability to maintain composure and skill ability during the game. We see these guys all the time in warm-ups and on Instagram videos, shooting, dunking, flying through the air, but then they get in the game. It's like, oh, man, somebody's in front of you. Somebody's in front of me. What am I going to do? You're not going to blow up my ticket. But talking about some of the games that are going to be coming out today, again, Saturday for the 8th NBA Summer League. Catch these games on NBA TV. But most importantly, you're going to get that NBA TV over on Fubo TV. That's right. Go to FuboTV.com/JB. I'm giving you that 15% off and 7 days free so you guys can check these games out. Miami Heat versus the Celtics at 3. Mavericks versus the Thunder. I know that's the game that you got circled on the clock. Ron, Knicks versus 76ers. Pistons versus the Magic. And the Grizzlies going against the Bulls. You got Pacers, Wizards at 8. Bucks, Suns at 9. Clippers are the final game versus the Jazz. All here in Las Vegas and some around the country. I know Salt Lake City has got their summer league going, so you guys definitely want to go check that out on Fubo TV to make sure you get all these games. Damian Lillard going back to his trade. We talked about it in the preset game. There's a lot of teams that could possibly be available for him. The Brooklyn Nets, if you go over to BetUS.com and use my offer code VSX125, rotation number 1001, the Brooklyn Nets plus 125. You got the Raptors in there at plus 700, but an interesting team that a lot of people are saying that they could possibly be a trade to is the Philadelphia 76ers, and we talked about that a couple of weeks ago on the show at plus 600 over in Portland. He did sign an extension. Now he wants out because he realizes where his career is going. Do you think there's any other shot for him to go anywhere other than Miami? In my opinion, it's kind of a done deal. Not too concerned about it. I don't think he really puts Miami over the hump, if you will, because they have a similar player in Jimmy Butler. I think that he needs to go to a team that has bigger forwards who's just looking for that one guard to push him over with the good spark. But when you look at the teams that are available for him to go to, it looks to be mostly Eastern Conference. So do you think he's going to leave the Western Conference altogether and come to the Eastern Conference and try to dominate? Go ahead.
Well, I think Portland definitely wants him out of the Western Conference. They're trying to make the Miami deal work. The problem is they don't want Tyler Hero. And he's the number one, trade chip Miami is. They don't really want him. So they're trying to facilitate a three-way trade, a three-team trade now. And that's tough at this point right now, to get something right after the draft like this. And it's just, in free agency, it's really tough to make that happen right now.
But right, and we didn't see a lot of trades in the draft. I mean, we saw it in the later rounds. But, again, another telling factor about that number one pick. Normally we see teams jockey for that number one pick. When the Spurs got it, I don't know what happened on in the background, but again, I didn't see a lot of people moving up for that pick. I didn't see a lot of people making trades for that pick. Kind of seeing where that pick ended up last night. But moving along, there's a prop bet. Will he be traded on or before July 31st? Minus 260, rotation number 1051 on BetUS, or after July 31st, plus 170. So they kind of cheaped out on when or the time frame that he's going to possibly get traded. Another player that people are holding out on, James Harden, okay? Possibly could stay in the Eastern Conference. Looking at some of these teams on the betting line, it's kind of a mix. You got the Phoenix Suns, you got the Houston Rockets back out there, San Antonio Spurs. You've even got an interesting pick here, which I think is interesting just simply because the Lakers like to do stuff like this. They always pick up guys like this. Rotation number 813, this is a futures bet on the trade for James Harden. Los Angeles Lakers, plus 2,500. Do you think there's any way that the Lakers try to pick up that third scoring option with James Harden and try to rein in some of his shooting? He didn't do as much as we thought he would in Philadelphia, but I think him playing with LeBron, playing with AD, that name factor, him coming back to L.A., him being an L.A. native, I would rather see him go to the Lakers at plus 2,500 than the Clippers at rotation 802 at plus 200. So talk to me about the possibility for James Harden coming out there, because the Lakers have a lot of good trade bait. If it was me, I would take some of these bench guys, package in Rui Hachimura. Again, Rui, we love you, but we got to use you as trade bait. So sorry about that. And ship him over to Philadelphia. I think that'd be a good pickup for Philadelphia. Rui's a solid player. He's going to give you that 15 points a game, but the Los Angeles Lakers need a third scoring option, or at least some star power with the injury propensity of LeBron and AD. Talk to me about what you think could possibly happen there, and if there's some value on that plus 2,500. Go ahead.
I'll tell you what, Lillard would be a good third option in L.A. How about that?
Here you guys go. NBA would never let that happen. Remember, they didn't let Chris Paul. They didn't let Chris Paul and Kobe. Rest in peace, Kobe. They didn't let those two guys pair up, and we saw how that ended up. Costed Chris Paul a championship opportunity for his whole career. Got him carpetbagging through the league now. Like, hey, you guys want to win a ring with me? It's very, very sad. But no, there's no way he's going to the Lakers as far as Damian Lillard. But James Harden seems like a more viable option. Yeah, it seems
that would be a good move. I think it would work for them.
I think it would too. The Lakers are a star power driven team, and they need somebody who can put the ball in the basket. And you've already got Austin Reeves. You just picked him back up, so you believe in whatever he's doing. But some of these other guys, look at what they did with KCP, Caldwell Pope. Traded him over to Denver, and he was able to pick up a championship. So I would rather see the Lakers focus on getting some of this talent that's out there, some proven talent, some veteran talent, to kind of help ease things along, because what we saw last year from them, they did well. They got to the playoffs, got to the Western Conference Finals, got swept by Denver, as we know. But when you talk about it from this free agency perspective, that's interesting that I would even see the Lakers on the line there. But when I think about it from a basketball perspective and how that team is made up, that would still sell tickets. LeBron, AD, and James Harden. When I get back from this short commercial break, getting ready to round out the show, get you guys over to the NBA Summer League Cox Pavilion and the Thomas and Mack Center. Go to VegasScoreboardExpress.com. Scroll down till you find those ticket links. Use them. I'm saving you 10 to 15% off on every single thing on my website. And again, if you can't get over to the games, watch them on Fubo TV at FuboTV.com/JB. You sign up, then you can download the app and watch the games anywhere you go. It's just like having TV in your pocket. Don't get cabled. Get Fubo TV. So, Ron, quick shout out. Then we'll take a short commercial break. Then we'll come back and set these fans up for a fun day of Summer League basketball if you're into that. Also got some WNBA on the line today. You guys can check that out. Try to make a little bit of money. But, Ron, go ahead, and then we'll get these bills paid.
You got to mention my main man, Linwood Hamilton.
There you go, Linwood Hard Rock Hamilton. Thank you guys for donating to his GoFundMe. Go to my website, VegasScoreboardExpress.com. Click his icon. And
don't forget to check him out on YouTube. Put him on YouTube. He's got tons of stuff on YouTube to check out.
Yeah, he's got tons of stuff. He's putting out a lot of videos. He's finally got a new social media manager. Shout out you, Linwood Hard Rock Hamilton. Thank you for helping VSX get built to the way it is. You know, he's the guy that suggested Ron come on as my co-host and contributor, and Ron has earned his seat here. Can't wait for him to get to Vegas. So when I get back from this short commercial break, again, you guys keep it locked. Stay tuned. JB the Ticket, Vegas Scoreboard Express. Guys, follow the show. Subscribe. I'm on YouTube as well. I'm on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, anywhere you listen to your favorite radio and podcast. Find the show, Vegas Scoreboard Express live. Subscribe, comment, let us know what you think. And if you want to shout out, hit me up on the website. So when I get back from this short commercial break, we're going to send you guys on your way to enjoy your Saturday. Thank you guys so much for starting off the day with me, JB the Ticket, here at KSHP AM 1400 and 107.1. Stay tuned, support the sponsors, and get the money.
You're listening to the boss of the big ball, JB the Ticket, Vegas Scoreboard Express. Giving you that grease.
Protect your internet with a strong VPN from VegasScoreboardExpress.com. Get 40% off.
JB the Ticket, Vegas Scoreboard Express, back at you live, getting ready to finish up the show. Ron, you're still on the line with me here. There you go. Want to make sure, again, you guys can check these games out on Fubo TV. Want to thank all of our sponsors. Again, give a shout out to my main man, Naheem the Dream. He's going to be one of our new sports contributors coming up this season. Give a shout out to Ron Raymond up in Canada. Be sure to stay tuned for him. Going to be bringing him on in a few weeks for some CFL picks and also just what's going on in the sports world in Canada. And again, you guys stay tuned tomorrow for Scotty. Beam him up Webb. East Coast Sports Investor is going to be giving you guys those baseball picks every single Sunday to put cash in your pocket. Last week we went 4-4, but hey, that wasn't too bad. Things change in baseball, but Ron is going to be breaking down some more NBA with me here now. Again, Scotty Beam him up Webb. Follow him on the social medias at Webby20MLB. So, Ron, we got about 2 minutes left. Any thoughts that you got out there for the fans today? Any games, any players that you're looking for to see what they can do to prove their mettle in this NBA Summer League season? Go ahead.
Well, I am a Dallas fan. I'm sorry to be disappointed about that, but I'm looking forward to seeing Derek Lively and Olivier Maxey's presence to Dallas.
That's what I'm talking about.
Oklahoma's got a kid, too. I think it's Keon Kaysen, the guard.
Yep.
He's from Kentucky. He's a great player, too. I'm looking forward to seeing what he's got.
I think a lot of these young men are going to be playing well today. I'm just interested, me personally, to see what Chet Holmgren can do. He's got kind of a swag to his game. He's also a 7-footer plus. So, possibility for him to maybe be Rookie of the Year over Wembanyama. Talking a little bit about some of the win totals for the San Antonio Spurs. Do you think these guys are going to get over 40 wins? This is on BetUS.com. Another pick for you guys today. Exclusive here on VegasScoreboardExpress.com. San Antonio plus 35 wins or over 40. If you're over 35, you get 185 on the money line. If you're over 40 wins, you get plus 450. That's rotation number 901 and 903. What do you think is going to happen? About 10 seconds left, Ron, then we're going to get out of here. Go ahead.
What was the over again you say?
Well, looks like the Spurs ain't going to win those games again. JB the Ticket, Ron, Third Down Best Bets, getting ready to sign off. Nah, it's all good. I ain't even worried about it. We got about 20 seconds left. You guys stay tuned. Keep it locked. Follow Ron on Instagram at RaiderHawk1. Follow me on our website at Vegas Scoreboard Express.com. Ron, we'll talk to you tomorrow. You guys stay tuned. Keep it locked. Tune in tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. to 7, and let's get the money.
You're listening to the boss of the big ball.